Alright guys, so today I am standing here with the Maserati Levante SQ4 and I'm going to show you all of its cool gadgets and features. I'm going to take it on a test drive and then I'm going to share my opinions about the car with you. And also guys, before we get into the video, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, make sure you like this video and comment below what cars you guys want to see me review next. But without further ado, let's get to it. So the Maserati Levante came out in 2017 when Maserati wanted to get their slice of the SUV pie. Now it was met with a lot of criticism, mostly from car enthusiasts. See, car enthusiasts, they obviously hate the sport SUV segment, and anytime that a reputable, cool sports car brand comes out with the SUV, they usually don't like it, and that was the case with the Levante. However, the actual people who were buying Maseratis were incredibly happy that they finally got a Maserati that was more reliable, more practical, usable. They could fit their kids in the back, and it was just more spacious. And you know, whether or not you agree or disagree with the Levante, the stats are that it became the brand's best-selling car, and the rest is history. So before I give you guys all the cool gadgets and features of this car, I'm just going to give you a little background on this specific car. This is the SQ4 model. It makes 424 horsepower. It has a twin turbo V6 and it goes 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds flat. Now the other trims that you have in the Levante are the base model, the GTS and the Trofeo. The GTS and Trofeo have the V8 engines, while the base model has the same V6 that is in this car. And this car starts at around $90,000 before options, and after options are added in, you end up at about around $120 to $130 depending on how heavily you option this car. Also, the other thing I like to mention is that this car has the Grand Sport package, which means that it has the more aggressive front fascia and a little bit more sporty design on the interior. Whereas the other option that you could go would be the Gran Lusso package, which means that you get the more luxurious package. The front fascia is a little bit different. The interior is more luxury focused and sport focused. And that is about it for the Levante. And now let's go get into it. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the front end of the car. Since this is a Maserati, obviously the most iconic part of the car is the front end and the front grille. Now, when you first look at it, the first thing you're going to notice is this huge Maserati trident right in the center, and that is the staple piece of the car. However, the branding and logos do not end there. Now, to see what I mean, you have another Maserati logo on the front hood, you have it inside the headlights, you have it on the front wheel arches, you have it behind the back windows, you have it on the trunk and below the trunk, you have it on headrest and brake calipers. The Maserati logo and brand is everywhere on this car in case you didn't know what it was already. Now next, I just want to talk about the general overall look of the front end. I think that this is one of the better looking SUVs in the whole entire world. Obviously this is the Grand Sport package, so you have the aggressive front end. However, I think this looks a lot better and more cool and sporty than a lot of the other cars in its class. You have these huge grille right here, you have the cool headlights, you have another grille underneath the first grille, you have another lip underneath the second grille, you have another grille on the edge over here, and you have lots of grills and sporty designs, which I think look really cool. All right, so next we're gonna go to the interior of the car, which I think this is really where the car stands out against its competition. Now, before I get into the specifics about all the cool gadgets and features of the interior, I'm just gonna talk about the general overall look. Now, you walk inside the car and you have leather everywhere. You have leather on the dash, you have it on the door panels, you have it all over the seats and the armrest. The steering wheel, leather is everywhere, and not only is this just leather, this is Napa grain leather, which is basically the highest quality leather that you can get inside of a car. And on top of that, you have all these cool quilted stitching and deviated stitching designs inside the interior, which look very beautiful. And you also have this really cool red color on the interior of the leather mixed with a little bit of black in it. You have carbon fiber all over. You have it on the center dash, you have it on the door panels, the upper dash. The whole entire interior of this car just screams Italian craftsmanship and high quality. Now, the first thing that you notice on the driver's side of the car are these massive chrome paddle shifters. Now, not only are they cool looking and they're big and they're chrome and they have all these cool designs on it, but they also are column mounted paddle shifters. Now, Some of you guys may be wondering, well, what's so special about being column mounted, and what is column mounted? Well, column mounted basically means that the paddle shifters do not move as you turn the steering wheel. See, in most cars, as you turn the steering wheel, the paddle shifters move in the direction of the way that you're turning. However, a column mounted paddle shifter stays in the same spot. Now, you may be thinking, cool, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that the only other cars that have column mounted paddle shifters are the super high-end exotics like Ferraris and Lamborghinis. So in your everyday SUV driver, you're getting supercar technology. Now next, I want to talk about the gauge cluster because I think it's actually a pretty cool one. Now, on the right-hand side, you have your tachometer, which obviously shows your RPMs. On the left-hand side, you have your speedometer, which just shows how fast you're going. Now, the interesting thing about these is that they are analog clusters. Now, most auto manufacturers have gone digital. Meanwhile, Maserati and a couple other brands have stayed with the analog clusters, and I personally think that it just makes it look more sporty and aggressive and more car enthusiast styled. Now, if you go in between the tachometer and the speedometer, you're going to have the driver's infotainment system, which I think is very straightforward and easy to use. Now, you obviously have various basic settings such as your fuel economy, your audio, your media, and your trip information. However, my favorite setting in the driver's infotainment system is the drive mode. Now, it doesn't just show whether your car is in Sport or Sport Plus or Eco mode, it also shows two other things. Now, the first thing of those two things is the actual suspension setting. It shows whether your car is in the more sporty, stiffer suspension or the softer, comfortable suspension. Now, cool, whatever. The second thing that it shows is how high or low your vehicle is lifted. Now, you guys may be thinking, Maseratis don't have a lift kit on them. That would look stupid. Well, they actually do. And to use the vehicle axle lift system on the Maserati, you just go to the center dash and then you'll find this little button with arrows pointing up and down and this little lever. You obviously push up to raise the car, you push down to lower the car. Now, it's actually pretty cool because as you raise and lower the car, it also shows your Maserati raising and lowering on your driver's infotainment system, which is pretty cool. Now, another cool thing about the vehicle axle lift system is just how high it lifts. Now, most cars who have an axle lift system, it only goes up 1 or 2 inches. However, on the Maserati, it goes up extremely high. Take a look. So next time that your friend in his lifted pickup truck tries to brag to you about how much higher he is above you, you can just tell him that, well, my Maserati comes with the lift kit. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is the infotainment system of their car. Now, in the past, Maserati has gotten a lot of criticism for its infotainment system being dated and old and not even usable. So when Maserati came out with the Levante, they knew that its customer base was not just going to be hardcore car enthusiasts. They knew that they needed to make something that was practical, reliable, and up to date. And they did just that. So the actual infotainment system is very easy and straightforward to use. You have all your basic settings such as your audio, your media, you can even control your climate, you can connect Apple CarPlay, you can do various other things. However, my favorite setting is the one called Travel Link. Now you click on it and you're brought up with various different settings such as fuel prices and weather map and sports and all this other stuff. However, my favorite thing is the one called movie listings. And you click on it and it's literally just as it sounds. It lists all the movies in your area and it's actually very accurate. It shows the distance away that the movie theaters are from your car. It shows the exact movies that they're listing and the exact time that they're listing. I think this is a really cool feature in case you ever wanted to take your Maserati to a movie theater and you couldn't look on your phone. Now, the next cool feature on the interior of the Maserati are actually the windows. Now, you guys may be thinking, well, aren't all windows the same in every car? Well, not in the Maserati. See, the Maserati have frameless windows, which means that there's no pillar attached to the top of the windowsill. So when you open your car door, all you have is just bare window. Now, you guys may be thinking, okay, cool, it's different. What's so special? Well, the actual only other SUV in the whole entire world that has frameless windows is the Aston Martin DBX. So that's your competition if you're driving a Levante. Now, the next interesting feature that I want to talk about is actually the armrest. Now, obviously, it's the basic armrest. It opens pretty easily. You just press on this little chrome button, it opens up, it folds in half, pretty simple. On the inside, however, you have two cup holders, which isn't out of the ordinary. A lot of other cars have cup holders kind of deep down into their armrest. However, the Maserati has a refrigerator inside of here. Now, to turn on the refrigerator in your Maserati, there's a little on-off switch. Obviously, you turn it on to turn on, you switch off to turn off. However, there is a catch to it. In order for the actual refrigerator to be working, you have to have the air conditioning actually running at the same time as the refrigerator. So if it's a really hot day and you don't have your air conditioning on, well, you're not going to be able to use your refrigerator inside your armrest. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the sunroof, which I think is actually pretty cool. Now, you obviously have a sun visor, and then you actually have the roof itself. And it's pretty simple and straightforward to open. So to open the sun visor, you go on the left-hand side, which has the 4 little bars under it. And obviously you click the arrow going backwards to open the sun visor, and it opens to itself with just one click. And then if you want to open the actual glass part of the sunroof, all you have to do is you go on the right-hand side of the little rectangle that has white on the bottom and see-through on the top, and you just click that button once, and then your sun visor opens. All right, guys, so the next thing I'm going to show you is the interior of the car. Now, the first thing I want to note is that there is a ton of space back here. This obviously is a full-on mid-size SUV. It's very comfortable. Even sitting in the middle seat, you have a ton of room. This obviously is more than practical enough. And it just has a lot of space. Now, in terms of seat comfortability, it's actually very comfortable. The leather is very soft, the seats are very cushiony, and you can also adjust the rear seats, which a lot of other cars don't have. And to do that, it's pretty simple. You just go to the side of the seat and you just pull the latch up, and you can obviously, lean the seat forward or backwards, which I think is actually pretty cool. And it's definitely a feature that a lot of other SUVs don't have. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys in the back seats is actually this little armrest that folds down. Now, a lot of other cars have this. It folds down. It has 2 cup holders. That's pretty cool. However, a cool feature that I like even better is you can actually move stuff in the back of your trunk without even going out of your car and opening up the trunk. And to do that, you just pull this little lever that's back behind the armrest, and then the little department folds down, so you can just throw stuff in your trunk if you want to do that, which I think that's a really cool and kind of secret compartment. Now, another thing that I would like to mention is that you do have a couple USB cables back here. They're right above the air vents. You just click this little button right there. You have 2 USB cables, then you also have a charging outlet. Now, next thing I want to show you guys is the rear end of the car. I think it's actually a pretty cool look. It's pretty sporty and aggressive and exotic looking. You obviously have this beautiful Maserati and cursive on the back end, and it's just overall a really cool look. Now, a cool feature that I want to note to you guys is on top, you have this little spoiler right here. Now, it isn't just a spoiler, it actually has little inserts in the middle, so you can stick your hand through it if you want to. It's obviously just for aerodynamic efficiency and whatnot. Now, the next thing that you're going to notice in the back end of the car are these beautiful quad chrome tip exhaust. And not only do they look cool, but they also sound cool as well. Take a listen. Alright guys, so we're in the Levante. We're gonna go take it for a test drive now. The first thing that I noticed is just how comfortable the car is. The seats and just the ride quality are very smooth, very cushiony. Everything just feels very comfortable. All right, guys, so there's some corners coming up, and we're gonna go see how this thing handles. Let's get to it. Wow, this thing actually handles pretty well. Yep, it's hugging the corner good. Got that. Guys, this thing hauls. I've driven the Stelvio, and obviously the Stelvio does handle a little bit better than this, but considering its size and how much space it has, this thing handles extremely well. So we got a straightaway coming up, and we're gonna go see how this thing sounds and how it accelerates. So let's get into it. This thing sounds so cool. Literally every single time that it upshifts, it makes this like grenade popping sound. Alright guys, so I'm inside a stoplight here. And just kind of looking around, I just realized how good the quality and the leather and all the materials are. Everything seems, you know, very luxurious, definitely worth the price point. So another thing that you will notice if you're driving a Maserati is that there's a lot of head turns. There's a lot of people who are staring at the car, people kind of taking pictures, looking at it, giving a second look, and that's just kind of how it is. All right, so we got a straightaway right here. We're just gonna step on it. Oh. Guys, this exhaust, literally, like, I just want to freaking put my foot on the pedal. Obviously, Porsches, Audi, Mercedes, BMW, they're all really good cars, but they don't quite feel as special. When you're in the Maserati, you feel like you're in something different. You know, you feel like you're just a little bit better than everybody else on the road, where when you're in like an Audi or Mercedes, you don't quite get that feeling that you do with the Maserati. Alright guys, so that wraps up the review for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, and comment below what car you guys want to see next. You know, it really helps me out to give me feedback so I can put more videos out for all of you. And also guys, if you're wondering what equipment I use for my camera, I have a link in my description linking all of the products that I use. So if you guys are interested in that, go check that out. And that is all I have to say. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.